Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. That didn't mean she looked relaxed. Her expression was heavy with gloom and weariness. The cup of black tea that she had brought from the dining hall had gone cold. A pleasant silence. Now that no one was in sight, Rosa's heart finally awoke. She was always treated like a kid in the conferences with her 3 siblings. She had no influence at all, but possibly because of that, she was apparently considered to be a neutral party. The siblings would often ask for her agreement, sometimes even treating her like a referee or a judge. I have to make use of that and turn the discussion in the direction I want. I have to find almost 100 million yen by March. That was supposed to be my greatest commitment. A burden I bore to help support that man's business. Now I'm not sure anymore. If I can pay off my debt, will he call me again? Don't make me laugh. Even if you do contact me after all this time, I'll be the one to refuse. But still, you're Maria's father. Please come and see her, if only just once. Love is quite a difficult thing to stick to, isn't it? Huh? Who? Though no one should have been in the parlor, someone suddenly spoke to Rosa and she jumped. Just when did he get there? Cannon could be seen standing there, even considering that she had been deep in thought to think that she hadn't noticed him at all. You startled me. Sorry, I guess I was thinking so hard that I didn't notice you. Do you need something? No. The reason you are currently in pain is because of love, Rosa-sama. Am I wrong? That's sudden. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maria-sama's father wanted you to be the co-signer on a loan, and you accepted, Rosa-sama. What a troublesome kid. You were listening to Kraus Nissan from the hallway, weren't you? True. Earlier this day in this very room, Kraus had seen through to the fact that Rosa was bearing a massive debt because she had become a co-signer on a loan. However, he hadn't said that her partner had been Maria's father. Why did Cannon know so much? You are a very wise person, Rosa-sama. You wouldn't have become a co-signer without thinking carefully about the consequences. I hadn't yet moved to his family register, but I thought of the man I would soon marry as my partner. If he couldn't borrow the money without my name, I feared that helping him out was my responsibility as his future wife. And did that future ever come? Ellipses. No, it hadn't. So afterwards, Rosa was always alone. And Maria never had a father. However, time moved on. Nothing changed except that Maria, who should have been a symbol of their union, just kept growing like a living hourglass. Measuring the length of the hell Rosa had crawled through. Because of that, Maria's growth hurt. It's ironic. I tried to forget that man several times, but forgetting him doesn't get rid of that debt. It was only natural. That's why she had to forget her love and do all she could to pay that money back. But I also think of it this way. If I can manage to pay everything off, it'll mean that I've passed the trial of love that he gave me. I'll have to pay off my debt anyway, so how can I abandon my reward? The love I'll gain as a result before it's over. Is it really so wrong to put off thinking about that until after I've paid my debts? It may have been a trick of words that only those who suffered through love could understand. Even Rosa was vaguely aware of the possibility that she had been deceived. However, if she was able to succeed in paying back the loan, he might acknowledge her usefulness as a wife. When that happened, she might be able to regain that love. And if she abandoned that love, this debt, this trial that he had given her, would become completely meaningless. Yes, for her the debt itself appeared to be a trial of love. Actually, the very fact that she tried to view it that way might have been the blindness of love, proof that she was still bound by her regrets and obsessed with the past. That pain still continued within her. At the very least, it would remain until she paid back that massive loan, and even then it would take quite some time before she'd be able to lay her feelings to him for rest. Could this be that hell Kairi-sama spoke of? I see. I'm not sure what you're talking about. But there's no doubt that my world has been hell through and through. And how can that be put to an end? Who knows? If anyone did, no one would ever be crushed by the disease of love. That disease is a serious one. It sometimes eats into a person for their entire life, spreading to and hurting the people closest to them. That disease was torturing her now as much as it ever had. Well, since you bring up Kairi-san, her story is like a wish or a dream to me. Though she had her man stolen from her, she persevered for 18 years. She never fell to despair and instead continued to support Rudolph, keeping her head down and waiting for a miracle. Maria is still 9 years old. I've only waited as long as the first half of Kairi's 18 years. If I gave up after just this, she would laugh at me. Do you think a miracle will occur within 9 years? If I doubt that, it's all over. In a sense, I'm a ghost. I am already dead. I'm just living on without noticing. A ghost waiting for eternity for a person who will never come. That's right. That day when I naively said that I wanted to support his dream, I was probably already dead. I guess that really was a regretful day in the end. I have dreams. I want to go overseas. I'll fly out of this tiny country, make it big, and come back to you. That takes me back. At that time, I thought of lovers as a pair of people willing to acknowledge each other's radical dreams. That's why he would always happily cheer me up by talking about how I'd become a successful designer, traveling to Paris to release a new line, and getting jostled by the press. When I think about it, I really had my head in the clouds during that strange time. We both lifted the other up, as though we were drifting about in the air. So, when he said that he wanted to get out of Japan, I applauded him and promised to support him, acknowledging each other's great dream. Did he die? Are you sure he's alive? It's like maybe the reason he hasn't reached back to you is maybe because he died. He might be dead. It could be a chance he never actually abandoned you or anything. He just died. Acknowledging each other's great dreams with nothing but words is a classic sort of pillow talk between lovers. However, when it comes to actually carrying them out, you need to be more serious and calculating. Also have a heartbeat. For a long time, I felt proud of letting him go on that day. No, I still do. Did his plane crash? Are you sure he just didn't die? Do you know that he's alive? But you still regret it. That's right. If I had sobbed and told him to stop on that day, I might not have fallen into hell. Seeing him off with a smile was my victory. Of course not. It is as though I lost by default by refusing to fight when the time came. I only glorified that loss, saw him off with a smile as he went to take on the world overseas, and became intoxicated with the illusion that I was some brave woman waiting patiently for her man's return with her daughter. Even though I didn't get a single call from him, and mail sent to the address he'd given me, come back, forwarding address unknown. Again, I think he died. And how do you know he even lived past the week? This is hell. In this hell, I'll regret not fighting when I should have until the day I die. I've even dragged my daughter into it. I wish someone would just kill me. I want to be told that I've already been killed and that I'm a ghost. In love, if you do not fight, you have to crawl through hell. Yes, love is a fight. Will you win and gain, or lose and die? But please have no fear of death. After all, it's a peaceful sleep. What's truly terrifying is the hell where you find the unsleeping ghosts of those who couldn't win and yet couldn't die. That hell has no end. The battle of love is the coolest for those who never even fought, but weren't able to die either. So in love, you've got to make it or break it. Dying in battle like that is liberating. They say the most torturous toxin for humans is made from love grown stale. The suffering it brings exceeds the tortures of the most twisted hells. She used this knowledge to try and embolden her double and little sister, encouraging her to take on any trial, no matter how fierce. I understand. After all, when my desire to have Battler-san accept me one day wells up in my chest, I can feel the seed that resides there. It is up to me to kill that seed or make it bud. However, if I let it rot there here in my chest, that poison will surely torment me forever. And that is the most fearsome torture in the world, even for us 1,000-year-old witches. See what happens to those who make light of love. This hell of roses is what happens to those who do not possess the courage to make the seed of love bud, and instead allow it to rot. One cannot end that pain by their own hands. Did Ganon actually end it in one go? She like, oh, my neck feels funny, and then her head just gets lopped off. Huh? Just now? Was that a red light? Does she still possess a jugular vein? Pardon me. Nani? What's that line from Fist of the North Star? Huh? What? Just now, I thought I saw something strange. I wonder if I'm tired. It's probably just my imagination. Rosa picked up her cup of cold coffee. When she did, she saw a small red rose petal float to the surface. A rose? I have heard that in your youth, you loved to lie on that sofa. It wasn't a rose petal. It was a drop of blood that had fallen from Rose's eyes. In an instant, Ganon had beautifully and precisely cut a single thread of Rose's life. There was no wound on Rose's body. However, several drops of blood dripped down from her eyes. Her pain, her uncertainties, and her worries were all gone now. Slowly, she fell down onto her side on the sofa. This had been one of the happiest things she had done during the happiest day of her life. Sleep well, Rosa-sama. Your hell has ended. Ganon took a blanket out of a cupboard and gently covered Rosa with it. To anyone, it would have looked just as though Rosa was sleeping peacefully. Those demons had not exaggerated when calling this trial a battle of love. It was at least accurate on this cruel but unassailable fact that those who have lost, those who have their love shattered, meet with death. Now, my part is complete. Did you see that, demons? Hi, Maria, you seem angry. Damn! You dare to kill my mama? You dare to kill my mama? You know, it's the first time you actually had the appropriate response to this, Maria. Every other time she's died or anything, you just sort of... I don't know. We're already in a state of severe depression. Well, next time on Dragon Ball Z, Canon versus Super Saiyan Maria. Next time, bye.